Okay, so my battery ran out yesterday as I was bringing this car in this building here, and it is kind of dark, so let me walk past it and get the doors open a little bit. I figure if I open up 2 doors, then I should have enough light in there to do this video somewhat properly. You guys are wondering what this car is. Well, if you see my Instagram account, you'll know that it is a Chevrolet. This is the car all swept off. It was a maroon car with black fenders. This is actually an original car. It is as original as it gets from the original top, which is still somewhat pliable. The interior is what is totally amazing. And it's like this mohair interior. It's really weird, but it's not even worn out that bad. Worn that bad over there on the driver's side. Now this car is extremely small inside. It's actually more like a Model T Ford, which I have one of those also down in the other buildings. But I wanted to show you a couple of things that I have inside the car that I found in the one I found in the trunk, and the other actually belongs on right here. This guy right here. This is the original Chevrolet Insignia, okay? It had some dust on it. Look at that bad boy. It is a beauty, huh? It had some dust on it, and I touched it. There it is. It's actually going to stick again. And I touched it, and when I touched it, it just popped right off in my hand. There's some kind of an epoxy or a solder. Actually, it looks like some kind of a solder on that. But this is actually an original Chevrolet Insignia on there. So, but I'm going to keep it in the. I'm actually going to keep it in the car here because I don't want it to get lost or broken or, fall off. So it can just stay happily back there. The other thing that I found in the trunk, and it doesn't belong to this car, but I guess it would work, is a stick. And I was so excited when I found this stick because I know exactly what it was when I got it. This is a gas gauge, and it's not for the Chevy. It's actually for Ford, and it's not focusing, but it says gallons in Ford square tank and gallons in Ford oval tank, and then of course it has all the way up to 15 gallons there, which could be for Chevrolet. I don't know. It's an Atwater new gasoline gauge. Yeah, Atwater Kent gasoline gauge. And what I like is they used to give these away as advertisements back in the day. Saucony gasoline, motor oils, and greases. And this is out of New York. Standard Oil Company of New York, 26 and Broadway. So I'm just going to put that back in here also. That is a not original shifter, I don't believe, but boy is that cool. That's marble. That is like really neat. But anyways, the car has an original 46,644 miles on it. Got some other features like amp meter and oil pressure, which is pretty cool. Choke is there, the key is there, but I don't have a key. There's all kinds of stuff, and I will get into that a little bit later. I do have some. This is the fuel tank, by the way. That's in the back here. Extra horn. That has something to do with that's a fuel can. I think it operates off a vacuum. I am not 100% sure, but it's got some stuff in the trunk here. And I don't know why the trunk is open, but it is open. Timothy may have opened it. It has the original 4-cylinder overhead valve motor, and you can see those rods that are on the side there. They are exposed push rods. And this car actually has a cooker on it, so if you want to cook your hamburgers, that's where you do that. And this horn does not belong here. If I've got it right, I do not believe that is supposed to be there. Has an air filter for the carburetor. It's an AC air filter, which I thought was cool as could be. Yeah, and I know some of you guys were like, oh, That car is very, very similar to this car, which is the Ford Model A. And you're right, it is. It's very, very similar. I'm going to step back here so I can get these both into view. And you can look at them side by side, and they just look like they're the same car. Except the Chevy's a good bit narrower, a little bit taller, same length and all. I think the wheelbase is as wide as the Ford, but the Ford is much wider. You can put two people in there with no problems at all. The seating space within the Chevy is a little bit tighter than it is in the Ford. So it's just really, honestly, I think, well, of course, this is a 1927, and the Ford is a 1931. So you can see a lot. You can see a lot of difference in these two cars, maybe from behind. I can't get into the Ford. And it's just too close to the Chevy. So let me kind of move over here and open up the Chevy back again. Now, the Chevy, this window will open up with that crank that's up there. This, because this car is all original, it even has the original curtain that goes in the back, and the springs do work, by the way. But that's really awesome, isn't that? That is just one of the coolest things. The headliner, same, beautiful, beautiful headliner work. When you move that crank, this window doesn't open much, but it opens just a little bit. And I can't open it because the windshield wiper is actually fused to the window, and I don't want to mess with that. Some of the gauge features, there's actually a coasting switch. If you've never seen, I've never seen one, I don't even know what it does, but you push that, and I don't know what it does, whether it disengages it can't possibly disengage the clutch, but it may shut off the fuel to the engine. You have your horn button there. I don't know, there's a button over there, I'm not sure what that is. These are your throttle and your timing are still there. This is your timing, and this is your throttle over on the left, which is backwards, I think. Anyway, I'm not even 100% sure. I won't be able to tell you until I get into it. Steering wheel is a lot like the Model T. It is wood, very nice. Dashboard on the Chevy was much nicer than the Fords of this time period. There is a heat vent down on the floor there. You can just use your foot and move it. Brake. Actually, the brakes and the clutch actually work very well. The engine does turn over. Doors shut very nice. 3-hinge door. I think the Ford is too, yeah. Ford's a 3-hinge door. Has all the original lights, the cowl lights, the headlights. That could be what that button. No, the switch on the side is for that. And honestly, if you look at the front end, see that? Ford has springs that go along from, crosswise on the car, whereas the Chevy has the springs going the lengthwise of the car, but yet they still have that nearly identical tin work there that shows the it's like it would cover something. This Chevy is actually in some tremendously awesome shape. Has the original cap on there. This car is 100% original. There is nothing been done to it since 1927, this is truly an awesome barn find. Now, I want to point out a couple of things other than there's the body by Fisher right there. So it's a Fisher body. And Fisher, when they built these bodies, basically they built a wooden frame and tacked the tin on the top of it, over top of the wood. And here is a really bad spot for Chevrolets. Normally they would just rot right out here, and you could stick your fist or head through these frames or through these body panels. This one here is in awesome shape, extremely good shape. Not even here where I'm digging at that's not even rust. There's hardly any surface rust on her at all. So you can see where things were tacked on to the wooden bodies. This is tin here. Underneath that is actually tin or wood. There's tin behind it, but there's wood along these beading or this welt. And boy, I'll tell you, it's really exciting to find a car like this in this kind of shape. And here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Here's the wood. This is all wood. This is tin. The tin is tacked onto this piece of tin is tacked onto the wood, and then this piece of tin is laid over the top and folded over. You can see how it's narrower down here, and then it kind of, or wider down here, and it narrows out, comes to the corner, folded over. So it's the way it's put on there is just, there's a lot of work that goes into these bodies. And unfortunately for Chevrolet, now here's an example. You can see wooden frame. The powder and post beetle has been in this thing a little bit, and these are the troughs, rain troughs. So if it rains, the water comes down and shoots down this way and out onto the ground. Well, you have this wood here. That wood holds moisture and causes these bodies to rot out. So this is a true survivor of time. And as Chevrolet goes, this may be a one-of-a-kind vehicle, because I have not seen one in this good a shape with the interior done. And I'm not a Chevrolet guy, believe me. I'm a Ford. I bleed Ford blue, you know. But here it is, and it's a barn find. I mean, I'm ecstatic as to how nice this car really is. So it could be a restoration product or project at some point, or it could be that I just get it running, which I will do. I mean, even the bead welt here on the hood is still in awesome shape. But anyways, it could be a restoration project. The car could be worth a hell of a lot of money just the way it is. Not that I'm looking to sell it at any time soon, but someone told me that I could possibly put this up on auction and get as much for it this way as I would a completely restored car. Well, I don't know. And I'm not really looking to sell it. As a matter of fact, I just want to get it running and have the Ford. I have two Fords. I have a 25 Model T four-door sedan, which is, you know, it's a Model T, an economy car. The Chevrolets were more oriented for they were a little higher priced car, but they were better designed car, better creature comforts and stuff. The Model A on the other side really just wiped Chevy's clock clean. They really, Ford outdid Chevrolet in the Model A series, and then of course it was the battle between the Fords and the Chevys of the 1930s, and that's still rings true today. Like, I see commercials on my YouTube that are Ford, you know, Chevrolet is better in all classes. Well, you know, I love my Fords. But anyhow, that's it for that right at this moment on the 1927 Capital Coupe.